In the beginning of the module, we learned about method safety and method idempotency. A method is considered safe when it does not change the resource representation. A method is considered idempotent when it can be called multiple times with the same result. Method safety and method idempotency help us decide what we are allowed to do for each method, which makes them two important principles when deciding on which method to use for which use case. Then we looked into POST. A special case was creating a list of resources in one go. We can't post a list of authors to the author's resource. That expects one author. But as we learned, a resource is different from the business or entity model. They don't have to map one on one. That means that we can solve this by creating a new resource, author collections, and post a list of authors, in other words, a collection of authors, to that resource URI. That will then result in the creation of a new author collection. We also learned that the correct status code to return when sending a post request to a URI that does not allow this is a 405 method not allowed. We learned that put is for full updates. It's important to remember that all fields should be updated as the result of a put request. Fields that aren't passed through in the request should be set to their default values. Put isn't safe as the resource changes, but it is idempotent. Executing the request multiple times should result in the same result. Patch is for partial updates. It removes the overhead put requests can have. The body of such a request is a list of operations defined by the JSON patch standard. Patch is very powerful, and it is neither safe nor idempotent. It is the preferred approach for updating resources. We also learned about a special use case, upserting or creating a resource with an update request, be it put or patch. This can be done when the consumer of the API is allowed to create the resource URI. We also learned that we can use an options request to learn what is allowed for a given resource. An API doesn't have to work with JSON. Previously, we learned that we can support different media types for the response body. We can also do that when submitting data in the request body. The content type header signifies the media type of the request body, and we can support different media types for that through input formatters. Thanks to this, scenarios like creating an API that serves as an integration layer between different systems becomes possible. One system might consume the API by passing in XML and getting back JSON, and the other way around. In the next module, we will look into validating data and reporting validation errors